Welcome back, students. This is the second video of our new chapter, that is human health and diseases. And in the previous video we discussed about what is health and what is disease, and when we are calling that a person is infected with a disease. And we had seen what is the interaction of parasitism and what is parasitism. Parasitism means the pathogen which will infect and that infect a body, that is the host, and in this interaction the host will be adversely affected and the parasite will be benefited by taking food and shelter from the host. And as a part of that we discussed about types of parasites: ectoparasite, endoparasite, and monogenetic, digenetic, different kinds of parasites, and hosts: primary host, secondary host, and vectors. What is vector? Which will helpful for the transfer of pathogen or parasite: mechanical vector and biological vector. So all these things are very important for the upcoming entrance exam. And as a part of our chapter human health and diseases, today we will discuss about some important diseases which troubled the humans at very much high level. So what are those diseases? And we will see in this manner a disease and type study of the disease. We will do what is a vector and what is the life cycle, and from where it is coming, and how it will transfer from one human to another human, and what are the symptoms. So like in this manner we will discuss each and every disease what we had given in the syllabus. So the first one is typhoid. The first one is typhoid. It is a disease which is caused by bacteria. So we have to remember the disease. It is caused by bacteria, or it is caused by protozoan, or it is caused by virus, or it is caused by nematode, or it is caused by any other. So we are having bacterial diseases, protozoan diseases, viral diseases, nematode diseases, or helminthes, platyhelminthes and nematoda. So helminthic infections, and we have fungal infections also. So some examples are given from all these 5 types of animals. So we will see now a bacterial disease, that is a typhoid. So it is caused by the bacteria Salmonella typhi. Caused by bacteria Salmonella typhi. So what are the symptoms? It is causing heavy fever, that is 103 degrees Fahrenheit to 105 degrees, and at most typhoid will lead to the death of the person also. So it is very dangerous disease. And what is the simple reason of causing this disease? This disease is mainly caused due to the contamination of food and water. It is caused by contaminated food and water, drinking water. So how it will happen? Mainly the main reason for the contamination is open defecation. Open defecation. That means if any person who is infected with the typhoid is gone for open defecation, and flies, cockroaches, everything will land on that fecal matter, and when it is going to other food materials or drinking water, it spreads the Salmonella typhi bacteria which is present in the fecal matter. So we can hear that in the news at a whole village is outbreak with the typhoid. So how it is? Because in a village there is a common source for the drinking water. Either the water is taken from a pond, or it is taken from a borewells or something. So if the contamination happened in the drinking resource, the whole village will be affected with the typhoid fever, because that is only the source for the people for drinking purpose in that village. So they are taking that contaminated water. So finally, all the people in that village will be affected with the typhoid fever. So simple reason: if we avoid open defecation, we can avoid, we can prevent typhoid by 90%. Simple reason: don't go outside for the defecation purpose. So we can eradicate 90% of typhoid. Simple. But due to ignorance, due to recklessness, and due to lack of knowledge, people are going outside for. Still in villages we can see the open defecations. So if we are avoiding this, we can avoid so many kinds of diseases. So try to avoid that one. And the symptoms are high fever, 103 to 105 degrees, constipation, and laziness, severe weakness. So many people will be affected with the typhoid. Okay. And now recently we have a vaccine for typhoid. So newly born children are now giving with a typhoid vaccine. So we have developed a vaccine for typhoid. So this is about the disease typhoid. And when we are going to the next disease, that is pneumonia. This is one of the very serious disease that is affecting the respiratory system. And now we are seeing the same cases in the persons who are affected with COVID-19 also. Pneumonia. It is also caused by bacteria. This is a bacterial infection. The bacteria is Streptococcus pneumoniae. Streptococcus pneumoniae. So what will happen if the Streptococcus pneumonia will enter into our body, and what it will do, the loss of the human beings. So first of all, it is infected and directly it will goes to lungs of a human being. It will affect the lungs of the human beings, and there we have alveoli, the sac-like structures, the cellular structures, which are helpful for exchange of gases. Oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange takes place here. So these sac-like structures, actually they are filled with either oxygen or carbon dioxide, depend upon the concentrations. Now this bacteria will inhabit these cells, and they are responsible for secretion of more fluids or mucus, a gel-like material inside the cells. As a result of that, what will happen? The air does not have oxygen, and carbon dioxide does not find enough place to exchange here, because it is already filled with the mucus material. So air cannot enter here. So as a result of that, respiratory problems will come, and finally due to that respiratory failure, the patient will be died. So this is what happens in the COVID-19 also. These persons are affected with the pneumonia. So that's why the lungs are filled with the viral particles, and it is the mucus is increased in the alveoli, and as a result of that, the exchange of gases is become difficult. Exchange of gases is getting difficult. So as a result of that, the respiratory system will be failed. As a result, the entire human will be collapsed due to failing respiratory system. So this is caused by the Streptococcus pneumonia, and how it will transmit from one person to one person. Here no vector is needed, only air. If your person infected with the pneumonia is speaking, some droplets will come. If the droplets will be taken through air by any other person, that person will be affected with pneumonia. So that's why the person has to wear a mask, as in the same protocol we have to follow for pneumonia, which is followed in COVID-19. The same protocol, safety precautions we have to take, because these are the respiratory and airborne diseases. So we have to take utmost care. We have to maintain at least 6 feet distance between the two persons while we are doing conversation with that person. And we cannot touch the surfaces which was touched previously by that person, like a laptop, a keyboard, mouse, a table. So those surfaces will also have these droplets, and we should not touch those surfaces. So this is the precautions which we have to take to prevent the pneumonia disease, which is a basically bacterial disease. And like that, so many diseases we have still: dysentery and plague disease and diphtheria, that is whooping cough. So many diseases are there which is caused by bacteria, which are, I have already given a list of bacterial diseases and you made assignment regarding that also. So now we moving to viral diseases. What is the most known viral disease? The most known viral disease that every person, every human being in his lifetime will get at least once in his lifetime. That is viral disease, that is common cold. Common cold. Every person in his lifetime should get this one, because no person escaped from this in the earth. This is caused by a family of virus, that is rhino group, or we can call as rhinoviruses. This will cause the disease, that is common cold. So at least the disease will be last for 3 to 7 days, and you know the symptoms. Everyone knows the symptoms of the cold. That is sometimes the nose will be congested, and we will feel difficulty to take air inside, and sometimes continuous discharge, that is mucus will come outside, nasal discharge, and headache, cough. So many symptoms are there. Some slightly feverish we can feel. So these are the symptoms, and this is also airborne disease, and this is transmitted from one person to one person through the droplets and the surfaces, the clothes which are used by that person. If the normal person also used that, they will get immediately the common cold. This is a viral disease, and so many viral diseases also we have: polio and some cancers, cervical cancers. So different types of diseases will be caused by our virus. And recently we are suffering with a pandemic, that is COVID-19, that is also caused by this virus. What is that? SARS-CoV-2. Because severe acute respiratory syndrome, COVID-2. Already COVID-1 came 30 years or 40 years back. So now it is CO2. This is the new variant. That is COVID-19. We are commonly calling it as a coronavirus. The symptoms here also involves the common cold, and that is will be severe case, not in that much simple than the common cold. So this is very dangerous disease now. If you have following the safety measures, and if you are taking the hygienic food, and if you are taking proper precautions, we can avoid this one also. So these are the different types of viral diseases. Now the most important in the exam point of view, we have to know some protozoan diseases. Protozoan diseases. So bacterial disease which were given in our syllabus was completed, viral diseases were completed, and now the protozoan disease. Protozoan disease, that is malaria. Malaria. Everyone knows malaria, and what are the parasites which causes this malaria is Plasmodium vivax. This is one type, and Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium falciparum. These are the three different species belongs to the genus Plasmodium, and these three are responsible for the disease malaria. And out of these three, this is the most dangerous parasite. This will cause malignant, that is most seriousness of malaria. It will infect to the brain also. So this is the most dangerous type of malaria, and maximum 90% death rate we can observe if you are not diagnosing early. This, if the person is infected with the Plasmodium falciparum, that if we have to identify in the early stages, otherwise it will be very dangerous and that finally leads to death also. So these are the parasites which causes the malaria, and these are the protozoan, belongs to the protozoa, not animal kingdom. Nowadays the protozoa are in protista, and the animal kingdom starts from porifera and then nidaria, like that. Previously, according to another classification, the protozoa belongs to the animal kingdom also. Understand? Now we will see what is the life cycle of the malaria. We have to see the life cycle that is caused by Plasmodium vivax. So already we discussed that it is a digenetic parasite. Plasmodium is a digenetic parasite. That means it completes its life cycle in two different hosts. That is, one is human and the another one is female Anopheles mosquito. So what is the life cycle which happens in these two different types of hosts? Okay, first of all, we started with a mosquito. Female, we have to remember that mosquito is female Anopheles mosquito. It is already having the Plasmodium vivax, for example. That mosquito already having. And the mosquito bite a person. Mosquito bites a person. And immediately after biting, the sporozoite stays in the life cycle. Remember, the sporozoite life cycle stays in the life cycle, enters into the body, and immediately within 30 minutes after entering, it reaches to liver of human. So here it enters into human. So it enters into the liver. There it will reproduce asexually by fragmentation, binary fission. It will multiply. And what will happen if the cell, this is the cell of a liver, for example one hepatocyte, here the population of the Plasmodium increases, and as a result of that the cell will be burst, so it is released outside, and after releasing from the liver cell it reaches to RBC, and in the RBC it will eat all the material. This is one RBC, and the parasite enters into RBC, and it has to survive. Parasite means it has to take food, so it eats all the material present in the RBC, and it digests hemoglobin also. It breaks down hemoglobin, and breaks into heme and globin, and the heme finally converts into hemojoin granules. So this hemojoin granules will be released, and these became into toxic granules, and due to release of this one only we are getting high fever due to the release of hemojoin granules. So after what will happen in RBC also, this population is increased, and RBC is ruptured, and that means they released outside. So after releasing outside in the human being itself, it is transformed into gametocyte stage. That means these are not gametes. The stage which is prior to the gametes, that is gametocytes. Now further development will not happen in the human beings, because the internal atmosphere in the human beings is not supports for the development of remaining stages. Now what will happen? Again, if another mosquito sucks the blood from that person, so it enters into the mosquito. Now, so up to here, this is the human phase. Now it enters into the mosquito. After reaching into mosquito, the gametocytes develops into gametes, and the male and female gamete will reproduce sexually. That means undergoes fertilization. That is sexual reproduction. Understanding? Now after fertilization, the new sporozoites will be developed and they reaches to salivary gland of mosquito. And from salivary gland of mosquito, again when it will bite another human being, that will reaches to another human. So this is the life cycle. This is mosquito phase. This is human phase. In humans, only asexual reproduction taking place. In mosquito, the sexual reproduction takes place. So this is the life cycle of malaria. Once it will bite, the sporozoites enters into the human being, and from the blood circulation it will reaches to liver, and the liver number increases, and finally it reaches to RBC and starts dissolving the materials which is present in the RBC and releases the hemojoin granules. Those are the toxic granules which are caused for the high fever, and after that it will rupture and undergoes development and forms the gametocyte, male and female gametocytes. And these gametocytes cannot do further development in the human beings. So another mosquito bites that human, it will reaches to the mosquito, and there the gametocyte stages develops into gametes, and gametes undergo sexual reproduction and forms the further stages of sporozoites. And the sporozoites now finally reaches to the salivary gland of the mosquito, and when that mosquito bites another person, it goes, the sporozoite stages enters into another person. That's why the mosquito is acting as a vector for the transferring of parasite from one host to another host. So this is the life cycle, and we know the symptoms: high fever, and sometimes if not treated in the early stages like the Plasmodium falciparum, it results into the death of a person. So this is about malaria. This is a protozoan disease. And another protozoan disease, that is amoebiasis. This is also another protozoan disease, that is amoebiasis. It is caused by a parasite, that is Entamoeba histolytica. Entamoeba histolytica. It is a monogenetic parasite. That means it completes its life cycle in only one host, that is human beings. It infects the large intestine. It infects the large intestine and causes, for example, releases some enzymes, and this is the intestine, and it is there. Entamoeba histolytica is there. It releases some enzymes that will lead to the dissolving of this layer. So as a result of that, here holes will be formed. It makes holes to the intestine. Due to release, it will breaks the layers of the intestine. So that's why as a result of that, what will happen? Severe abdominal pain, and while in the fecus, we are having mucus filled fecus material, because this material is dissolved due to the enzymes released by the parasite. And how it is transmitted from one person to another person? It is like the same case of the typhoid. Due to contamination of water and drinking water and food, it is transferred from one person to another person. And we have to take if we are taking the water outside, we have to boil it and we have to drink it. So during that boiling process, these parasites will be killed because of high temperatures. So as a result of that, what will happen? Severe mucus related fecal discharge and severe abdominal pain, fever, and intestinal rupturing takes place due to the enzymes, acidic enzymes which are secreted by the parasite. And severe fecal discharge will happens in the case of amoebiasis. So that's why that is also known as amoebic dysentery. Severe motions, gum motions we call in a common name, that is gum motions will come when the person is affected with Entamoeba histolytica. And if we avoid the open defecation also, here we prevent the disease. So due to open defecation, so many diseases we can eradicate to prevent. If you avoid the open defecation, we can prevent so many hundreds of diseases which are only caused due to contamination of food and drinking water. We can prevent those diseases. So as a result, as a part of Swachh Bharat, nowadays all the people are trying to have their own lavatories in their homes to avoid the open defecation. And now the another disease that we have here is nematodes. Now nematode disease or helminthic infections. Helminthic infections. So what are the helminthic infections? Here they are given two helminthic infections. One is ascariasis and another one is filariasis. Filariasis. So first of all we will see ascariasis. It is caused by a parasite, nematode parasite, that is Ascaris lumbricoides, and it is caused by filariasis is caused by another parasite, nematode parasite, that is Wuchereria bancrofti and Wuchereria malai. These are the two different types of parasites which causes filariasis, and this is caused ascariasis. And what are the symptoms of ascariasis? And what is the contamination? How it will be reached from another one person to another person? Here also, the eggs of the ascaris will be released outside through fecal matter. Will be released through fecal matter. If the fecal matter is, we are going for open defecation, again it reaches to, it will contaminate the soil, it will contaminate the water, it will contaminate the nearest food resources. So when the another person taking the same, the eggs will enter into the another person and starts the new life cycle there and causes the disease, that is ascariasis, in the other human being also. So this is also we can prevent by, we can avoid the open defecation. So as that we can prevent this disease. It is transmitted through the eggs which are present in the fecal matter. And what are the main symptoms? That is internal bleeding in different organs and severe muscular pain, anemia, that means loss of blood, and these worms will increase in number and blockage of intestinal passage. That means this is the intestine and these worms are blocked the passage, so the passage will be reduced. So this is how, these are the symptoms of the ascariasis and caused due to only contamination of food and water. And what is the parasite? Ascaris lumbricoides. This is a nematode or Ascalmanthus parasite. Now Wuchereria bancrofti. It causes the disease filariasis or elephantiasis. That means you can see that the leg will be swollen like anything, like in the shape of a elephant leg. That much size it will be swollen. So that's why we are causing this disease. Its common name is elephantiasis. And it is transmitted, the vector here is Wuchereria bancrofti or Wuchereria malai. And what it will cause? This will cause chronic inflammation, that means swelling of lower limbs. Chronic inflammation of lower limbs, that means legs will be swollen, inflammation, like in normal leg is this much and the filariasis leg is this much. That much difference will be there. And Genital organs also. Genital organ deformities. Because it is affected in the genital region. That is, for example, these are the two testicles present in the male human beings. If it is affected with the filariasis, the testicles will be like this. So it is affecting the genital organs also. Deformities, change in the shape, change in the size of the genital organs. So these are the symptoms, and it is transmitted by another type of mosquito, that is female Culex mosquito, and the malaria is transmitted by female Anopheles mosquito. And these are the different diseases which are given in our textbook, and these are from bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoa and nematoda. And still it is a pending that we have to study about the fungal disease, that is common disease, that is known as ringworm. That is ringworm. This is caused by fungi. What are those fungi? Microsporum, Epidermophyton, Trichophyton. These are the three groups of fungi which will cause the ringworm. What is there in the ringworm? If it is affected, it will form the dry scaly lesions on the skin, and it will also observed in the open skin, and it is also observed in the groin regions. What is the groin region? If this is the body and these are the legs. These are the legs. At this region, here we have genital organs. So at this region we have scaly lesions. So that is groin region. And in between the toes also. In between the toes we are getting this disease. What is this? This will result into immense itching, immense burning sensation, and it is transformed from one person to one person by using the towels, by using the cloths which are used by the infected person. And it is present, it will also come on the scalp also. In the scalp region also we can get this type of fungi. And here what will happen as a result of that, we are continuously doing like this, and slowly that fungi will eat the hair follicles and hair loss will also happens. So what we have to make our skin, that is especially at the groin regions, always dry. If some sweat is accumulated here, that will favors the formation of ringworm, because fungi will grow in the moist regions. So always we have to make the groin region as a dry region. As a result of that, we are not giving scope for the establishment of the fungi, and finally we cannot get infected by the ringworm. This is not a deadly disease, but this will disturb you more, and it will deviate from your, and concentration levels will also decrease, because this disease always be the person infected with the ringworm, they concentrated on itching only. Okay, these are the different diseases which are given in our textbook, and tomorrow onwards in the next videos this is about human health and diseases. And if the parasite enters into our body will react something. It will produce some proteins which trying to kill those parasites. So that process is known as immunity, immunological reactions. Immunological reactions. So these reactions, what are the reactions? What are the different types of cells are there in our body to fight against different parasites? How our body will react if you are taking something from outside? So that belongs to the chapter immunology. Tomorrow onwards we will start that chapter, and this is about human health and diseases. To prevent some diseases, we have to keep ourselves as a hygienic, and we have to take a proper food habits, and we have to take a hygienic food. So by following these simple tips, we can prevent 70% of the diseases. Okay, this is about the human health and diseases. If you have any doubts, you can contact us. Thank you.